is Ruel's Running Podcast, a podcast about running, health, family, play, and an NSNG lifestyle. And now, here's your host, Ruel.
Excuse me as I rock on. That's Went Away by Dorothy Lane. Dorothy Lane out of Martinez, California. That's out of the Cut and Dry album. Check them out at DorothyLaneMusic.com. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. It's Ruel. How are you doing? This is, this will be the Lake Chabot 50k 2020 episode. This will be part one in the episode because I am going to break up the audio. I'm going to talk a bit pre-race and then probably talk a bit post-race and then maybe talk a bit again later when I've processed the experience. So yeah, welcome to the show. This is one of the many few, does that even make sense? This is one of the very few running-related episodes of the Ruel's Running Podcast. Isn't that great? Yeah. So, what's going on if you're just tuning in? I host, heading to Lake Chabot in Castro Valley, California. Going to run a 50k distance trail race, but the race is not for me to win it. It is for me to just put myself out there and see what I could do. This will be my, I want to say, fourth time doing this race. And quick recap of my previous performances. Official dead last finish, first year. Second year, unofficial dead last finish. And so what that means is I completed the course regardless of anything else. I completed the course while race staff were still there, so they could witness that I completed the course. Third go at it last year was I did not complete the course. And I was not at dead last finish because I did not complete the course. So yeah, I was basically I did DNF. I started, I went out, I didn't pay attention to cutoffs. I just went out and enjoyed my run, and nobody had given me the nod to step off the trail because based on my effort, I wasn't going to make cutoff. And it wasn't until I approached an aid station, like second to the last aid station, that they're like, wait a minute. Actually, the aid station was already being torn down. So I was like, whoa, what are you doing here? It's like, I'm here to run. So no, you're done. We just that final section of the trail, we've already removed trail markers. And someone should have told you. So yeah, no problem. So I just backtracked and headed to the start finish and completed, 28 miles of it all. And so kind of close, but not close enough. So this year I will be around that ballpark based on past performance. We'll see. I am, I want to say, maybe 13 minutes away to where I need to be. And, I kissed my wife this morning goodbye, and she wished me luck and to be safe. And I basically just, I got up, at 6:30, made my coffee. I need to get that kind of, get my innards churning so that I could wake up, take a nice hefty number 2, so that I don't have to worry about that at the start or even mid-race. took my time, and then prepared my nutrition. Filled up my hydro pack with water. Filled up a water bottle with a concentrated solution of my Generation UCAN Super Starch Plain. Finally finished the tub after all this time. Had a big old tub of the stuff, and lo and behold, I finished it. I emptied out the tub this morning to fill my water bottle. Yeah, and I have 2 Epic bars. Only found the turkey cranberry version at the store, so I got 2 of those. All I need is 2. And I got 3 individual packets of what's it called, coconut oil and almond butter. So got 3 of those packets. Those will fit nicely on my body, on my little pockets in my shorts inner liner, and in a pocket on my my pack. And and doing something different, I have rather than the raw almonds, I bought a nice little package of macadamia nuts, salted macadamia nuts. So I took a bunch of those and put them in a nice snack-sized Ziploc bag. And so that in lieu of my traditional raw almonds, I'm using the macadamia nuts, the salted ones. And speaking of salt, I have the Pure Vitamin Club Ultra Salt as well. I put 10 capsules in a snack-sized Ziploc bag as well. So that's it. And while I'm here on the go, I have like a half-sized Starbucks type thermos filled with just plain black coffee. Yeah. And it isn't pure Coffee Club coffee. It's a Pete's brand. It's Pete's, I think, French roast. Yeah. And it might be a little diluted because I just put whatever was left in the French press in this thermos. Realized it was kind of short, so I just not topped it off, but I just added a few more hits of some hot water to keep it a little bit more to the temperature I like. So it may be a bit diluted. I don't care at this point. I did have my mug and a half of coffee with some heavy cream. Literally a little bit of heavy cream. I just was too lazy to hold a little tiny cardboard carton just a half second longer at an angle to get more heavy cream in there. I was just like, and that's all I had. A fart's full of heavy cream. Getting closer. I am getting closer. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Today is going to be great weather. Excuse me. Great weather. The sun's going to be out in a bit, and yeah, no rain. And I don't know if I should be concerned because my first attempt at this thing, it was really sloshy. It was a slosh fest, and and I finished. I was an official finisher. And second time around, I did this. It was what today is expected to be like, and I did finish, but I wasn't an official finisher. It was not an official finisher, which I'll take. I will take being an unofficial finisher as long as I finish. Who am I kidding? I'll take it just as long as I get to enjoy the day and I get to come home safe. So, there's so many different levels of acceptability here as far as accomplishment. and big question mark how things will go. I'm excited. I can say that I have experience on the trail. I can say that I have experience running the distance. So there's no like butterflies. There's no, I don't know where I'm going sort of vibe. You know, I'm not stressed out about it. So I am looking to just have another fun day. The opportunity to be able to do this, spend the majority of the day out and experiencing the trail. You know, it's a beautiful trail. You know, we run a bit around Lake Chabot, and we head up to the highest point in that area, Red Tail Ridge. You know, and we get to do one big loop. Well, at least the 50k distance gets to do one big loop and then a short loop, and it's awesome. Very awesome. Yeah, I am minutes away to where I need to be, and start is in 30 minutes. Starts at 8:30 in the morning, and they opened up the gates for parking at 7:30. In the past, because I was pretty new at it, I was kind of stressed, and I was like, oh my god, I better get there just at 7:30 so I can get parking, which left me an hour of just twiddling my thumbs and sitting in my truck, you know, feeling nervous. You know, this time around, yeah, cool. Oh, so I'm trying to remember last year was cool. Last year was cool. I just had a ton of fun. I remember, you know, walking up to Ken Michael before the start. He had just arrived minutes before start, and he was putting away his stuff. Drop bag, if you will, and I wanted to say hello, and it was just you know, maybe a few days or a week before that no, it wasn't. I had been in communication with him to get on the Ultra Diner podcast with Tony Portera. So yeah, so you know, going up to him to say have a good race and good morning and all that good stuff was just me trying to connect with folks that I've known over these very few years of doing the trail run stuff. Yeah. Again, if you are a new listener to the show, you may know Ken Michael. He's a beast on the trail. He runs and runs and runs. His thing, his nickname, his motto is all day, right? All day, Ken Michael. His podcast is Running Stupid. Check it out. He's an ultra runner athlete here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Yeah, I ought to, speaking of the Ultra Diner podcast, I ought to get that back off of a hiatus, coordinate with Tony. You know, we pinged each other early for the new year, like, yeah, let's start podcasting again. And he's like, just pick a date. And I'm like, sure. And, you know, I've how quickly time flies, pretty hectic, and I know that there's never going to be a perfect time, and you just gotta put it on the calendar if it's going to happen, you know. Whew. Yeah, I am close. All right, guys, I'm going to focus on getting into that parking lot and then getting my number, my bib, checking in. And probably when I get there, I'll probably start to get the urge to take a leak, and then I'm going to have to stand in line with a bunch of other runners in the cold to take a leak. Yeah. Awesome. So, yeah. Catch you in a bit.
Do you need a website? If you're an individual, a consultant, a group, or small business and need a site, or maybe you have an existing site, I can help. How about graphic design? Do you need a design for a t-shirt, logo, product, business cards? You know, maybe you need help with designing and developing a brand. I'm not an expert, but I do have the tools and the techniques to get the job done. How about a podcast? Yep, like this thing. This thing's a silly little show. Are you looking to set up a podcast of your own? Are you looking to reach an audience? Promote your business via podcast? Well, Abadam Studios. That's right, Abadam Studios. Yeah, so that's Abadam Studios. AbadamStudios.com, AbadamStudios.com. Check it out.
I'm back. So, I was initially thought that after running the 50k that I'd get back to the truck all exhausted and filthy. And I did. I got back to the truck all exhausted and filthy. But I thought I'd, turn on the mic and just sort of do some quick update and then, carry on a little bit later. But I didn't. I was just too excited to get the heck home. So yeah, I completed the 50k. Yay for me! I got it done in how I described as less than spectacular, but yet somewhat spectacular fashion. So I can't remember if I talked about it last year, but yeah, I must have. So just a quick recap. I did it last year. I did the Lake Chabot Red Tail Ridge 50k last year, and I had a blast. I had such a blast that I got sloppy and I didn't pay attention to time. And I just was cruising along, listening to podcasts, and just laughing my ass off all by myself on the trail because, it's pretty lonely when you're in the back of the trail, or the back of the pack, or whatever you want to call it. And so I got sloppy last year and finished the first loop, which is about mile, I want to say 20. And then no, I can't. It went mile 18 perhaps. Yeah. And then I left. Went back out to do the second loop, the small loop. And did a significant amount of work because by that point I was already exhausted, and there's sections of the course that are just like, in my mind, they seem to go on forever. So it's like, I gotta do that section, which lasts forever. Then I gotta do that section, which lasts forever. And then I gotta do that section, which really sucks and lasts forever. Then I can get over to the aid station. So I get to the aid station, and everything was torn down. And they're like, there wasn't anybody on the trail that said that you basically, you're cut off. It's like, nope, didn't see anybody. So, I don't know, man. I got to what was it? Mile, what is it? 23, maybe? 24? I don't know. 20-something. 23? No, 23. It must have been 23-something. At the aid station to be told, you're gone. You can't continue because the aid station shut down now, and the second to the last section that you gotta loop around. We've already swept the course. There's no markers. Do you know the course? I'm like I'm not gonna remember the damn course. So I kind of wish I did. How cool would that be to really know the course and then to just be like, I'll be fine. I know exactly where I am because I'm jungle man, forest boy. But no. So I just turned back around and headed back to the finish start. So I completed, on that day last year, I completed, I want to say a little bit. I guess a marathon's distance. We'll just call it that. Yeah, so this year, I got it done. I
I got it done in 8 hours and 29 minutes, which was how a race director, when I crossed the finish line at the end as dead last, he's like, wow, redemption. It's like, yeah, totally. I mean, because last year I didn't get to finish the course, so being able to finish the course despite being dead last is still redemption. And 8:29. And you know what's funny is the year before last when I finished it, I didn't meet cutoff. I guess cutoff is 8.5 hours, right? So I was like, by finishing this year at 8:29, it's like, holy crap. Okay. It was like 8:29 some change. So I'm like, or was it 8:28 and some change? But either way, it's like, I'm still on that really fine end of not being an official finisher, right? It's as cool as it is to just finish. It's also cool to finish within time. And so 8:29. But the year before last, when I finished it unofficial, it was 8 hours 31 or something like that, or 32, 33, something like that. So I finished it dead last, unofficial dead last. I remember there was 2 dead last trophies. There was the official dead last and trophy, and there was the unofficial dead last and trophy. It's the same trophy. And I still got my sad results posted on online. But so the year before that was my debut at the course. Sounds so dorky. That my debut was the first time at that event, and I did it 8 hours and I think under 8 hours and 20 minutes. So I was faster on my first go around. I didn't beat my fastest time on the course, but I redeemed myself from last year, and I definitely went faster than the year before last, than the last time I completed the course. So I'm still sort of in the same sad ballpark of being a dead last guy. What's interesting to me is that the very first time I did the course, it was slush all around. It was slush and mud and running water. It was ridiculous. And I remember running that second to the last section thinking like, oh my God, it's just, how the heck am I going to meet get back on time through all of this? It's like rivers and oceans and tsunamis and stuff, in the middle of the wilderness. It's crazy. And at that point, it's like, I don't give a fuck. It's like, just go straight into the water and just trudge through. So despite all of the water, that was my fastest time on that course. It was weird, unless I just can't remember. Like, I must have been just gliding downhill on a bunch of mud and picking up some time that way. But man, that killed me. Yeah. But this time around, I for some reason I kept on thinking about my finishing times at the other 50k that I've done, the Ohlone 50k. The cutoff times are longer. At the first time I did the Ohlone, the cutoff time was 10 hours. So I was a little after, it's 10 something, but they were pretty good at. They were really nice at it. I think I came in a little after the 10-hour mark, but they gave me a finishing time. And then last year when I did Ohlone, the second time I did it, it was a course change because of weather conditions. So the cutoff was extended because it was crazy. It was like my first time at Lake Chabot. There's a lot of water and mud and slush. It was crazy. And I finished at like 11 and some change. So I'm so used to thinking I'm going to be out on the course 10 hours, 11 hours, right? Doing a 50k up, elevation and blah blah blah. And so then here I was finishing Lake Chabot at 8 and some change, and I'm thinking like, whoa, didn't I get this done 10 hours last time? So I was thinking like, wow, how did I shave an hour and a half off of my time? Right? And it's been like 9 months since I ran any significant distance. What's different? Am I a different beast? Apparently not. I'm the same pathetic slow beast. Still in the same ballpark on that particular course. 8.5 and some change, or give or take. So yeah. So that was it. And I want to continue on in a bit. I got to go. I'll be back. I want to talk about sort of what went through my mind throughout the process, because it was a trip. It was totally a trip. Okay, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. I'm back. I had to hop in. I had to go to the store. I was on my way to the store. I'm heading back home now. I had to pick up a package of Ghirardelli white chocolate chips. My wife is baking. She's baking something. Baking magic. So yeah. So leading up to the event, you heard me race morning, and that morning just happened really quick. I mean, I didn't have time to stress out over, I didn't have time to really think about the race. So that meant I didn't have time thinking and worrying, right? I just busy, and I was aware, people will say, so, what you got going on for the weekend? Got big plans for the weekend? I'm like, well, I'm just more like, I got a packed weekend. I gotta run a 50k trail on Saturday, and then on Sunday we're gonna have guests over, so I gotta help prepare stuff on Sunday for guests and such. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty busy. So I just mutter the fact that I'm gonna go run, but I don't think about oh man, when's the last time I really trained? Or when's the last time I ran any real distance? So that's pretty much what it was. And Friday night came along, and I was like, end of the week, had dinner with the family. Let's go eat some Japanese food, right? And I'm really trying to be better at my alcohol consumption. I still say I quit in January, but every now and then I'm still having something, right? So we go to the Japanese restaurant, and they know our family there. And one of the staff ladies is like, oh, you haven't had a large Asahi in a while, So she remembers this one time I ordered a large Asahi. Who am I kidding? There were several times in the past visits where I'm like, give me the large Asahi dry. So I'm like, yeah, you're right, I haven't had it in a while. I'm like, yeah, what the heck? It's Friday, and I'm gonna destroy myself on Saturday on the trail. So, might as well kind of pre-celebrate the effort right now. So, had me some sushi, and had a tall beer, double tall beer. Yeah, it's not NSNG. I'm well aware. Neither is the sushi. I'm well aware. It's called Life into Living, and I was doing it with enthusiasm. Now, so, race before the night before the race, all I was thinking was, just get through the regular evening routine with the kids and the family, get the kids bathed, and they get to spend a little bit more time up because it's Friday night, so they can just goof off, they can play on their device or whatever. But I was like, telling my wife, but I don't want to do anything that needs me to focus on anything. I just want to like wrap up the evening, and I just want to go to bed and get as much rest as I can. And so I did that Friday night, got up, had set my alarm, got up maybe a couple hours before race start, and that it was actually Friday night. I just was throwing things that I needed into a laundry basket, and then putting it all downstairs so that when I get up in the morning, I could just get my coffee made, and then I could rummage through the big old laundry basket full of stuff so that I could get myself organized. Put Band-Aids on my nipples. Why do you do that, Ruel? Because if I don't protect my nipples, there's going to be chafing involved, because right now my nipples are a little bit prone to shifting and whatnot under my shirt. Plus, I'll be wearing a hydration vest, which will have pockets, and the pockets will have things like water bottles. So there's going to be a whole lot of contact going on right in front of my nipples, and my band-aiding of my nipples is a way to sort of protect my nipples, save the nipples. So did that, got ready, and then I got ready as quick as I could. Didn't have time to sort of mull over the fact that, oh my God, I'm going to do something that's going to take me most of the day and I'm going to suffer, right? And yes, I'm well aware there are people who do great distances beyond, the 50K, and those people are awesome. And I wish I was there, but I'm not there yet. Anyways, but yeah, it's still for my capacity to perform. It's a lot for me. So I just kind of rushed to get to the start, and I had like 10 minutes before actual start. And I had to park far because I got there late. So I parked on the overflow parking, which is farther from the start finish. So, I had just enough time to leave my vehicle, head over, get my number and stuff, and then bring that back to the truck and pin my number on and grab my vest, put it on, and ditch, secure all my belongings in my vehicle and lock it, and then head over to the start. And it was literally, minutes away from start. So, I snapped a few photos, and next thing you know, it was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay! Everyone was off. Everyone who started at 8:30 for the 50K and the 25K. I think it was a 25K. Some other distance. Yeah. I'll be right back. I'm back. So, I'm driving again. Trying to pick up where I left off. I can't even remember what I mentioned in the previous segments, but I'll just roll with it. The 50K kicked off, same with the 30K. Everybody's rolling, and there's that excitement that I was feeling, like, here we go, it's the start, everybody's going, and, the future looks bright. The unknown is yet to be experienced, if that even makes sense. But needless to say, just feeling good, rolling with everybody, and always taking that approach of we've got like, 8 something hours. Actually, in my mind, I was thinking, got 10 hours of this stuff, because
mean, my last 50K had been an 11-hour experience. So I'm thinking, got 10 hours here, so, we're just hitting these first several miles. Gotta not get caught up in the excitement and beat up myself too soon. So just wanted to make sure that I was going at a decent pace. What is decent? I don't know. Definitely not walking. And just, trying to not get caught up in being cocky or follow the next guy who maybe, putting in more effort than I need to at that early in the event. I don't want to call it a race because I ain't racing anybody. And feeling good. Get to the first aid station at some point. And I had my trekking poles with me, and I was still trying to figure them out. I've used them for several events, but with 9 months being my last 50K, I'm having to refamiliarize myself with them and starting to feel like I don't need them. I'll pull them out when I really need them. So in the meantime, they just stay tucked along my vest straps and just there just in case when I need them. And I get to the first aid station and feeling good. I really don't stop for anything other than, maybe a cup of water. At that point, I don't need anything. And maybe a couple cups of water. Just to know that I took something off of the aid station, and I had an opportunity to thank the volunteers for them being there. So at this point, still pretty early in the event, and I think this is where it must have been a couple hours into it. Maybe the second aid station, I started feeling like, what? I'm not feeling it. A lot of self-doubt started coming in, and I already started telling myself, I think I don't think I'm going to make cutoffs. And, remembering what happened last year where, I hadn't gotten any indication that, I wasn't going to meet cutoff, and I just kept on going as a result until I got to torn down aid station, and they're like, what are you doing here? You should have been notified that, you weren't going to make cutoff or something, only to be able to run and hike back to the start finish, so, I was feeling like that was going to happen again, like I wasn't going to be aware of my timing, and I couldn't rely on anybody letting me know. I had to be proactive and stuff. So so for basically, I don't know, I'm thinking 5 or 6 miles and 18 or 20. That whole period of time, I was just rolling, and telling myself negative thoughts and convinced that I was just going to just quit after the big first loop, and I was trying to justify that was a good decision because I'd get to be a part of the party that's at the finish start. I could chow down on some barbecue, suck on some beers, and maybe I'll start getting into taking and finishing photos of the runners and stuff, and be able to contribute that album into the event photographs. I was playing with those thoughts. So a lot of just quitting multiple times in my mind, and but with every sort of brief conversation I have with somebody on the trail, in particular the volunteers at the aid stations or the 2 photographers that were out there,
it always was a pick me up. Just being able to have a little word with folks on the trail who were there to see us carry on. And I think, if it weren't for those encounters, I would have been in a sort of a lower mental point, and increasing my chances of quitting. But no, it's like, there was a little bit of encouragement. And so I got to the big loop. I finished the big loop, which basically, when you get to finish the big loop, it takes you back to the finish/start. And you know how hard it is to get to the start, finish, and know that you still have 13 miles to go. You're not done. You have to go back out, do a smaller loop, and then find your way to the finish. It's kind of tough, right? Because you already know what you're going to go through. And but I got to the completion of that first loop. This is where I had been calculating for hours already that I was going to quit. But there was a little bit of curiosity, like the what if. And what that did was, I asked one of the guys at the aid station, so, how am I looking? Am I going to make cutoffs, right? And they're like, yeah, you're going to be fine. You have a good buffer, right? And to me, a good buffer of like, say, 12, 20 minutes is easy to accept if it were a flat course, easy terrain, but to me, it's easy for me to lose any buffer because the terrain gets really rocky. Single track goes into like really narrow sort of, I don't know what you call them, like divots, and you've got to sort of navigate off to the side and through and whatever, not to mention the climb, the descent, the, messing around with heat in the exposed sections and messing around with the cold in the colder sections under the forest cover. So it's easy for me to lose that buffer. So when they say there's a buffer, I'm kind of like, I still have to calculate losing the buffer and what would that mean, right? And when I say calculate, there really isn't calculate. It's called worry, right? But, in my mind, I was calculating off of a false cutoff, which is kind of scary. The whole time I was thinking, don't we have 10 hours to do this event, right? And then I was thinking, okay, 10 hours, and I've got a half marathon left to run. Can I do? Let me see. Looks like I got like 4 hours. Like, God, 4 hours to do a half marathon. Even with the descent and the climbing and stuff. Like, yeah, that should be fine. So I'm like, what the hell? So I just decided to not quit and to continue. Went through, got to the next station, which would have been second to last. And they're like, yeah, you're still making good time. So I'm feeling confident until I started realizing, like, wait a minute. I don't think I have 10 hours here. I think I have like 8.5 hours, right? It might be that. So that means I'm really cutting it close. Damn it, I'm still chasing cutoffs, right? Like, well, I'm still going to go with the good vibes, positive sort of thought in that, I'm just going to make sure that I push and I don't find myself just sort of like strolling through the forest, talking to the birds and stuff. And that I'm really moving as best as I can. And I had been struggling with my calves, cramping throughout the event, so that made an impact on me, how I pushed. I had to basically, like chi running sort of vibe, like do pose running, chi running, lean forward and just sort of catching myself rather than really pushing off with my feet, because that would have employed a lot of my calf, and then they would have just tightened up, and I would have just been screwed. So there's a lot of chi pose running that kept me through. It's just lean, get a good lean, and sort of catch myself, and sort of allow my legs to open up easy from below and behind me. And then I had my trekking pole, so whenever I started to get a little bit of a climb, I wasn't just kind of hiking. I was really, really power hiking and employing the poles, and made sure that I had a cadence that matched a cadence as if I had been just running on flat. So, I made sure that I was really moving. And, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So, I was talking about the photographers, and Chris Cleary from the treadmill over in Monterey. He does a lot of these inside trail events, where he does the photos and stuff, and he does a really awesome job at taking photos of the runners, not just the runners for commemorating, look, there I am running, right? But he really composes the photographs. He gets a lot of the background right. It's just amazing. And so he's out there, and, with me, not surprisingly be the dead last guy on the course. And he's sticking around, and he's taking photos of me, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna head ahead of you and get ready for the next photos, right? He commented, it's like you got a whole personal photographer for at this point in time. I'm like, really? It was fun because he got me on my way out for that second loop. Actually, I caught him. He was sitting out above the trail off to the side. I could see his bike, and that what cued me in that he was in the area. His mountain bike was on the side of the trail, and I looked up, in the vegetation or whatever, and he was sitting there, and he was looking at his phone, and I'm just, trudging along. I'm like, what ya doing? And he puts his phone away, and he takes a look at who it is, and he sees me, and he breaks out his his camera. He snaps several photos, even as I kind of hike up the hill. Snaps more photos from behind, because at that point in time, like just as you pan out, the view is spectacular, and then I'm just like this lonely guy kind of trekking up the side of the trail. And I do my loop, I come back around, and he sees me, we take more photos, and it was just fun, He kind of did a quick check on me because he knew that I was struggling with my calves. I had mentioned it feels like I've got golf balls in the back of my leg. And then I told him, at that point in time, just trying to get through the final loop, so I guess I could just pretty much say I'm numb to all of the discomfort now, and I can just kind of carry on. And that had been something that I forgot about, and I struggled with it, with the discomfort here and there, all of these different things, and then at some point I reminded myself that, I'm supposed to feel like crap, right? What else am I supposed to feel like, trying to accomplish another 31 miles through, the trails, 4,000 something feet of, elevation, blah, blah, blah,
I'm supposed to not feel awesome, right? I'm supposed to be uncomfortable. Bottoms of my feet, my knees, my calves, my hamstrings, whatever, right? Whatever it was, I'm supposed to feel like crap. So then once I said, yep, you're supposed to feel this way, then it was sort of like I allowed my mind to sort of numb everything out and carry on. And it was great. Saw Chris another time. Then he got on his bike and see you at the finish sort of deal. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a spectacular finish. And get to the finish. Because the rest of it's just, one foot in front of the other and continue to press on. And at that point, there was no need for any self-doubt, kind of situation. But once I accepted the fact that I could be wrong with the 10-hour cutoff, because I'm clearly ahead. Actually, I was still thinking about the 10-hour cutoff, and I was thinking like, wow, I'm making great time, right? I get to the finish, and it's fantastic. Before the finishing straightaway, I sort of I collapsed my poles and I put them back on my pack strap, and I was able to get to the finish. And there was like 2-person paramedic team by the medic tent, and volunteers off to the other side, and cowbells ringing and people clapping and cheering. At this point, people know who I am, right? Because I've if you're the only guy in the course, people are going to wonder, like, okay, who's left? Oh, it's this guy, right? What's his name? And it's like, so I have a handful of people, cheering me through, saying my name. It was awesome. And Chris was there. He was snapping photos of my silly self, and Tim, the race director, was there to high-five me and state the fact that it was a redemption finish compared to last year. I'm like, no kidding, man. Last year to get to an aid station that had been torn down, I'm like, wah, wah, wah. He's like, and I told him, I'm like, for most of the race, for like 20 miles into it, I was just totally convinced that it was going to happen again. He says, nope, man, we were there. I'm like, cool. And yeah, it was special. It's special. I mean, I'm not, not first place, and I'm not winning a prize or anything. It's just another accomplishment, right? I towed this event 4 times. This makes my second official dead last finish, or official finish. I had once dead last unofficial finished, so I finished the course 3 times, and then last year was a DNF. Got most of the course through, but just wasn't my time. It wasn't my fastest time on the course. It was my second. My fastest time on the course was the first time I did the event, and interestingly enough, this year the weather was great. It was dry. It wasn't too hot, but it was my second fastest. My first year, it was complete. It was a complete slosh. Somehow I finished it faster. I don't know. Maybe it was just being a newbie. I was scared about, the cutoffs. I was really scared. I really was scared about it, and maybe that made the difference. I didn't want to get caught up in chasing cutoffs and feel that anxiety, and I wanted to enjoy the experience, even if it meant me having cut out, just quitting, I don't know. But I'm glad I didn't. I got it done, and happy, first 50k of the year. Yeah, it's funny. I was telling myself as I struggled through mentally, I was thinking, I'm gonna quit this event. I'm gonna quit this sport. Why am I doing this? What's the whole point? I gotta retire from this thing. How long have I been doing this thing? That's how bad it was, mentally. Like I just was thinking so many things. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna do something else. I don't know. I'm gonna join a gym and just be a gym rat. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. I can get into the fact that I partook of several cups of Coca-Cola
trying to finish that final loop, because at that point I was just wanted my brain to feel good and get the thing done, and that's what I did. That's what I had to do. So that's all I got for you guys. Nothing special, just another run. I appreciate you tuning in, and I don't know what to expect from here. Just happy to report, happy to get it done. Remember, folks, hug your friends, hug your family, eat something delicious, and go run something. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Ruel's Running Podcast with Ruel. If you like what you just heard, share it with your friends and your enemies. Also, be sure to check out the site over at ruelsrunning.com. This has been another Coffee with Heavy Cream production. Join us next time for another silly show of Ruel's Running Podcast.